Hello everyone, my name is Yulia Vichart and I'm a family lawyer. I work at the law company of the lawyer Alexey Nikolaevich Skrybin. Our law company specializes in providing legal services in the field of marriage dissolution and recovery of alimony. Our lawyers provide support in court proceedings throughout Ukraine. In this video, I will tell you how to get a court decision after a divorce, how to get a copy of a court decision on divorce, which has entered into force, and an additional court decision on a divorce case, how to get a divorce certificate in the registry office. Watch this video till the end in order to learn a lot of interesting information about getting a divorce decision. Subscribe to my channel to receive up-to-date information in the field of family law. Contacts for calling me and for asking about paid consultations are under this video. A court decision on divorce is a document certifying a divorce through the court in Ukraine. According to the Family Code, it is established that a court decision on divorce is a document certifying the fact of divorce which has entered into legal force. In this case, is it necessary to obtain a divorce certificate in the registry office? Divorce certificates aren't issued in such cases. A court decision on divorce is a certificate at the registry office in Ukraine. As a general rule, a court decision that is entered into legal force is mandatory for all government authorities, local governments, their officials, individuals, legal entities, and their associations throughout Ukraine. A court decision on divorce which has entered into legal force, in accordance with the Code of Civil Procedure, is the subject to execution throughout the territory of Ukraine, and in cases established by international treaties, the consent of which have been provided by Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, outside of it. The law of Ukraine establishes that a court decision on divorce comes into legal force upon the expiration of the time limit for filing an appeal by all participants of the case, if the appeal hasn't been filed. This provision is consistent with the content of the Code of Civil Procedure, which states that the binding of the court decision doesn't deprive persons who didn't participate in the case of the opportunity to go to court if the issue of their rights, freedoms, or interests is resolved by a court decision on divorce. Court decisions on divorce provide for the registration at the registry office and the subsequent receipt of a divorce certificate on the basis of such a decision. Additional court decision in the divorce case in Ukraine application. According to the Code of Civil Procedure, it regulates the issues of making an additional decision on divorce by the court in cases specified by law. So, it stipulates that an additional decision is made only by the composition of the court that made the main decision. Otherwise, according to the resolution of the plenum of the Supreme Court of Ukraine on a court decision in a civil case, a person has a right to apply to the court with an application and with the same requirements on the general basis. The period during which you can apply to the court with an application is limited by the end of the period for the execution of the decision. The initiator of an additional decision on divorce may be both the court and the participants of the case who apply to the court with a corresponding statement in the following cases. Regarding a certain claim on which the parties submitted evidence and gave explanations, no decision has been made. The court, having decided the issue of the right, didn't indicate the exact amount of money awarded for recovery or the property that should be transferred or the actions to be accomplished. The court hasn't resolved the issue of court costs. Considering the issue of making an additional decision on divorce on other grounds, the court, by resolution, refuses to satisfy such a statement. At the same time, the procedure of making an additional decision on divorce isn't different from the procedure for making a court decision on a case. The legislator only limits the court by the time for the adoption of an additional court decision, which begins from the date of receipt of the relevant statement. Summoning the parties to resolve the issue of making an additional decision on divorce is optional. However, it is necessary the court may summon the parties or the other participants of the case at the court hearing. Failure to appear at the court session of persons who were duly notified of the date, time, and place of the court session and doesn't preclude the consideration of the statement. By its content, an additional decision on divorce cannot change the essence of the main decision or contain conclusions about the rights and obligations of persons who didn't participate in the case or investigated claims that weren't considered at the court hearing. How to get a court decision after divorce in Ukraine? According to the Code of Civil Procedure, general rules for handling of judicial decisions have been established, which makes it possible to delimit the procedure for transforming a copy of a full or shortened court decision on divorce to the participants of the case who were present at the court session and who were absent. So, the participants of the case who were present at the court session immediately after the announcement of the court's decision on divorce have the right to receive a copy of full court judgment in case that the court announces the full court decision. At the request of such participant of the case, a copy of the full court judgment is handed to him against receipt directly in the court. And shortened court judgment. Introductory and substantive parts. In case of announcement of only a shortened court decision, introductory and operative parts. Upon their statement, immediately. To the participants of the case who weren't present at the court hearing, a copy of the court judgment is sent, or in electronic form if the person has an official email, or by registered mail with acknowledgement of receipt if the participant in the court proceedings doesn't have an official address. This issue is resolved in a similar way if the court's decision was made outside of the court session or without notifying, summoning the participants of the case. It is noteworthy that if a copy of the court judgment is handed to a representative of a participant in the civil procedure, it is considered that was also handed to the person he represented. How to get a copy of the court judgment on divorce which came into force in Ukraine. Legal assistance of a lawyer in family disputes, in addition to consulting and providing explanations of the norms of current legislation, also consists of the possibility of requesting copies of the necessary documents from the competent state authorities. This is about how to get a copy of the court decision on divorce which has entered into legal force by a lawyer quickly. Such powers are granted to a lawyer in accordance with the law of Ukraine on the bar and advocacy. A family lawyer provides services for obtaining a copy of the court judgment that has entered into legal force remotely, without your presence on the territory of Ukraine and abroad, on the basis of an agreement on the providing of legal assistance. Consulting a professional divorce lawyer is a guarantee of your success. Contact the lawyers of our company in any way convenient for you. Call or write to messengers, and we will help you to resolve your issues quickly and efficiently. If you have a need for consultation or paid services of a lawyer, then contact the contacts listed under this video. If you have any questions, then write them into the comments to this video and I will definitely answer you. If this video was useful for you and you learned something new about how to get a court judgment on divorce, then like this video, subscribe to my channel, share with friends, press the bell not to miss new videos, and see you in new videos.